We are going to solve this step by step. But when you are alone, you can basically solve this in either way, right? You can, without showing steps, it is very fine. So let's begin with question A1, where we are solving the redox reaction in acidic media. Now I have to remind you that for question 7b, where it is saying basic media, you first have to balance it in acidic, okay? Then you drop to what? To basic. So those are the contexts you need to look at. So let's pick one. Let me pick this one, B1, in acidic media. So we have this compound, okay, manganese ion plus iodine. What we are producing is manganese 2 plus ion, in that order. So step 1, let's do step 1. So step 1 says you have to relate the half reactions, okay? So what it means is more or less like you looking at which one will produce manganese, or like, is that okay? So those are the two half reactions. So in case manganese would be linked to this one, iodine would to that. So in this case, the two half reactions that we are going to have is the manganese oxide minus, it will produce just the manganese ion. Then the other one is, so I'll write them this side. The other one is ion minus, will basically produce iodine. Iodine will produce that. Now, after step 1, step 2. Step 2 is say balance all elements other than oxygen and the hydrogen. Okay, balance all elements present, other than, or we can simply say except hydrogen and the oxygen. So you come in here and check, apart from oxygen, what else do we have here? So we have manganese. So manganese in the first half reaction, on the left side we have one manganese, on the right side we also have one manganese. So in this case it means the manganese is what? Balanced. The other half reaction, we have manganese, iodine. This side we have 2 iodine. So to balance that, we simply put a 2 there. So it means we have balanced that. We don't have oxygen, we don't have hydrogen. We don't have n element. So your focus on step 2 is to balance any other element apart from hydrogen and the oxygen. Now step 3, we say balance oxygen by adding water, to the side with less oxygens. So, but you should take note that the number of water molecules we add must be equal to the number of oxygens that you have on that side. In this case, we have, in the first half reaction, we have 4 oxygen. And we should understand that in water, we only have 1 oxygen. So in order to balance the oxygens, we are going to add 4 water molecules. To the side where there is no what? Oxygen. In this case, we are going to add water to the what? To the right side, because on the right side we don't have what? Oxygen. But how many water molecules are we going to add? We are going to add 4 water molecules. Reason being is that because in this case we have 4 water molecules on the left side. If we go to the other half reaction, we have no oxygen in this case, so you just copy the equation the way it is. After that, you got step number 4. So step number 4 now, we are saying balance now hydrogen. Remember, you have balanced oxygen, so you are going to balance hydrogen. Balance hydrogen. Balance hydrogen by adding H plus hydrogen ion to the side with less hydrogens. So what do we have? What we have is the equation. What we have is this equation. So we have manganese O4 minus producing M2 plus water molecules. The other one is just 2 iodine ion producing iodine in that manner. So we are just interested in the first equation because the only one with hydrogen. So now how many hydrogens do we have in this case? We have 4 times 2, we have 8 hydrogens. So meaning that those are the 8 hydrogens you are going to add. So in other words, you are going to add 80 H plus. The hydrogens you are adding must be equivalent to the hydrogens that you have on the other side. If at all in this other equation we had hydrogen, you would have done the same. You would have done what? The same. So now, at this point, we are going to do what? We are going to step 5. So step 5 now, under step 5, you are going now to balance the charges. So you balance the charges by adding electrons to the side with a higher charge. You are going to add electrons. So step 5, you balance the charge. Balance the charge. How do you balance the charge? By adding electrons. Remember that electrons are negatively charged. So you are going to add electrons to the side with a higher charge. Now be with me. If we come to equation 2, I can start with equation 2. If we come to equation 2, what we have is 2I minus producing that. Now, if I ask you the question, what's the total charge on the left side? What is the total charge on the left side? Negative.
Yes, 2 minus.
2 minus. What's the total charge on the right side?
0.
Which one is
0.
greater? Between -2 and 0.
I think I'm what?
Which one is greater between -2 and 0?
0.
0.
Perfect. So meaning that our right side has higher what? Total charge. So you are looking at the overall charge. You understand? we are looking at the overall charge. So meaning that our left side has higher charge. So now in order to balance that, we are going to add down what electrons to the side with higher charge. But the question is, how many electrons are you going to add? So you should know those charges. Remember, it is negatively charged. So if this side you have 2 minus, you also want to have 2 minus on the what? Right side. So how many electrons are we going to have?
2.
2.
Perfect. So we are going to add 2 electrons. In this case, the left side has 2 negative. The right side has also what? 2 negative. So you do the same with the other equation. Then your goal is to check which one has the higher charge. So that is the side where you are going to add the electrons. So in this case, if you check on the left side, on the right side, the overall charge is positive 2. On the right side, the overall charge is what? What's the overall charge? On the left side.
7.
Perfect. So you say 8 because here it's positive 8 minus this minus, so it will be positive 7. So now, you are looking at the case where you want to balance the charge. So in other words, we are going to add what? Electrons on the left side. Now the question comes, how many electrons am I going to have to add so that I balance the charge with what I have on the what? Right side. In other words, you want from 7 plus, you want to remain with 2 plus. So how many electrons are we going to add?
5.
5.
Powerful. So we are going to add 5 electrons. So because at this point, when you add the overall charge on the left side now will be what? 2 plus. Same as the one that you have on the left side. Right side. So after that, you now go to step what? 6. So step 6 now, this is where now you are going to exchange. If at all the number of electrons you have added are different, exchange them. The electrons added. So we are simply 5 and 6 there interlinked. After balancing, you also need to exchange them. If they are different, you exchange them and then multiply with the equations. Full equations. So in this case, what we have is 5 electrons plus 8 H plus this now will produce that. So the amount of electrons you added in the other equation, so in this case, this equation will be multiplied by the electrons you added in the other half reaction, so it will be multiplied by what? 2. Then this other one, the whole equation must be multiplied by the electrons you added in the other half reaction. In this case, it is what? 5. So we multiply everything and then write the two half reactions. So this one will give us 10 electrons plus 16 H plus 2 MnO4 minus, producing 2 Mn2 plus 8 water. Then the other equation will give us 5 times 2, that is 10 I minus, producing 5 I2 plus 10 electrons. Then at this point, the electrons can cancel out because they are appearing on both sides. So this electron and that electron cancels. So if there's anything else appearing on both sides, you can check and cancel them out. After that, you just rewrite the two half reactions. You add the product on the same side, the reactant on the same side. So what are we going to have? Well, we are going to have 16. So for this, the first equation is just remaining 16 electrons, H plus 2 MnO4 minus plus 10 I minus. So we add the two equations together. Now we produce the other side. We have 5I2 plus 2 Mn2 plus 80 water. So after now rewriting, you can check if your equation is balanced. How do we check? First, you can counter check how many hydrogen. This side you have 16, this side you have 16. Balanced oxygens, we have 8 this side. This side you have also 2 times 4, 8 electrons. Manganese 2, iodine 10, iodine 10. What about the charges? So the total charge on the left side here is 16 minus 2. It will be what? 12, right? Is it? Are we there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so 16.
Yes, we are there, sir.
Okay, 16 minus 2, that's 14. Minus 10, that is the 4 plus. Then this side, this is 0, this is 0. Here, 2 plus times 2, it will give us 4, which means the charges are also the same. So where we have reached here, this equation is balanced in acidic media. Any question up to where we've reached?
Yes, just clarification.
Yes, please.
After cancelling the spectator ions, those that appears on both sides, does it matter like which reaction do you have to start with, the oxidation reaction or the reduction reaction?
It doesn't matter. At this point, you're just adding the product on one side, the reactant on one side. So it doesn't matter. You just have to add them the way they appear.
Alright.
Perfect. Now, I want to explain basic media using the same equation. So, once you do the acidic, you can now proceed using the same equation and solve for what? Basic media. So it is like this, like that, plus 10. I'm just copying the same equation which we have there, plus 16 H plus. Okay, we are producing 5 iodine 2 plus 2 Mn2 plus 4 water. So since we are proceeding to acidic to basic media, so step number 7 now. So step number 7 now, it means we are going into acidic basic media. So what do you do on step 7? You are going to add OH to the side where H plus is appearing. So add OH, okay? In fact, on both sides. On both sides. Now, you should take note that the number of OH you are adding must be equivalent to the number of H plus ions. So OH added must be equal to the H plus ion present. So what do we have? This is what we have. In this case, we have 2 MnO4 minus plus 10 iodine minus plus 16 H plus. So how many OH are we going to add?
16.
So we are going to add 16 O minus on the left side. You proceed, you add the other things that you have. You just copy the equation the way it is, plus 16 OH minus. So now this here will give us water. H plus plus OH, this will give us what? Water. So what we are going to have is this now plus 10 H minus plus 16 water, producing 5 plus 2 Mn 2 plus 4 water plus 16 OH. So now observe that water is now appearing on both sides. How can we get rid of it? We can cancel out. So here you cancel water, and then you also cancel some water molecules. How many will remain here?
8. That's 16, not 12.
Okay, so what we have here, I'm the one who wrote for here, it has to be 8 according to what we have, right? It's 8 water, the one we balanced in acidic media. So it is the 8 water molecules that we had in acidic media. So what you are going to subtract is basically 8. Okay, so we are going to have 8 here. So when you cancel 8, what are we going to remain with?
8.
We are going to remain with 8. Perfect. So now, after cancelling, we rewrite the equation and just counter check. So now observe that at this point, your equation is now balanced in basic media. So the presence of OH in your equation tells you that the equation is now what? Basic. Plus 16 OH. So this is how you balance the equation in acidic media. Is there a question on this one?
No.
It is clear. So what I've basically done is